Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Hi, friends. Today's episode is going to be about money-making action, and things are wild in the world right now. Read horrible and oppressive in the United States. And I want to send you a big hug if you are struggling with overwhelm, procrastination, anything like that because of the Epstein files, because of the politics, because of maybe a lot of my clients are also going through things personally in their internal world, whether it's sickness or conflicts or divorces. So just sending you a big hug. And I just wanted to make today's session really practical. It was inspired by just some of the conversations I've been having lately with my clients, and just a reminder of how much choice we have and flexibility when it comes to showing up in our business. I think we want to keep showing up in our business because you want to create financial stability for yourself. And really, I find that your clients will likely need you more now than ever. I find that in time, not that I'm grateful for times of crisis like COVID or whatever, but I do find that if we can lean in, you'll find, even though the world tells us like, oh no, like your business isn't going to do as well because of this crisis or whatever. I think if you actually market yourself right, your work will be more in demand, because heart-centered women that are value aligned are going to find you and want to work with you now more than ever. Your work is needed. And most of what we provide as heart-centered entrepreneurs is soft skills that are very, very useful in times of crisis and frustration, right? I was talking to my client who's a health coach and really sharing with her, like, women need to work out and take care of their bodies now more than ever. So if you can use that as a part of your message, it can be so, so useful. Okay, so what I want to talk about today specifically was option and choice when it comes to your selling and money making, so that if you're feeling stuck or procrastinating or it's feeling sticky, I want to remind you, you have options. And as entrepreneurs, sometimes the options actually paralyze us. So I'm giving you like a multiple choice. We're going to play a little word association game that I think you're going to love. And I don't want you to overthink it, and just play along. So first, I'm going to share the 6 little choices that you can have to add some variance and fun and playful energy to how you're selling and making money in the next few weeks. And then I'm going to share 4 truths of maybe things you have either a little less choice around, or like things I'm going to give you my advice on. These 6 things are things I think you can be effective at either way you do selling. The other 4 are actually, this is my opinion on, I actually think this way of doing certain things is superior. Okay, so let's start with the choice. The first thing that I love to talk about too with my clients about making money and doing your sales actions, whether it is writing emails for a new masterclass that you've created, whether it is working on a sales page, whether it is working in your Facebook ads, maybe it's writing content or doing direct outreach or doing follow-ups or hopping on a discovery call. All those sales and money-making actions are so important. But here's 6 things you have choice on. Number 1 is how you reward yourself. Number 2 is how you track the actions you take. Number 3 is whether you're doing it in timer metrics. Number 4 is whether you're doing it in or out of the house. Number 5 is whether you're batching your actions or doing a little each day. Number 6 is doing them written or audio. So I wanted to share them first so you kind of get a concept for like, wait, what are we talking about? And I want to go into them a little bit deeper. And just as I go through them, like see what your gut or intuition is saying for what sounds fun in the next like 3 weeks. Okay, I'm a big fan of like short-term decisions. So the first one is rewards. And I think a lot of people do really well with a practical reward or treat, right? Like I will do these 10 follow-ups that I've been avoiding, and then I'll buy myself that book that I've been really wanting, or I'm going to buy myself that coffee drink. That works really great for some people. Other people don't need that, right? My kids and I play this game. One of my kids was having a hard time using a napkin, like they were wiping their hands on their pants or whatever, the car. And so I started this thing called napkin points. And whenever I saw them use a napkin, I'd say napkin points. And then the kid would be like, oh, yay, napkin points. My kids are older. They're 9 and 11. But I really think that celebrating, right? I tell my clients this when they sometimes my clients will let me know oh, Anna, I, hit my first 10K month or whatever. And I'm like, great, what are you doing to celebrate? And they're like, I'm not sure. It doesn't necessarily mean, it could be as simple as, writing yourself a pretend little placard that says my first 10K month and putting it on your office pin board. Doesn't have to cost us something, but I do think that rewarding yourself and celebrating and giving yourself a pat on the back is one of the most underutilized things in parenting, but in business. And so what I want you to ask yourself for this little multiple choice is, in this chapter, do I want to reward myself with napkin points, with something conceptual, but actually make a big deal about it? Or do I like a treat? Do I like an actual physical reward? Okay, if you're following along, I would encourage you to write down on a piece of paper or maybe write down in your notes app on these 6 things. And once you make your decision, I want you to try to stick with it for 2 or 3 weeks and really see how you respond to it. Okay, second one is, I've been obsessed lately with tracking actions on paper. I encourage my clients to either track on a little chart, whether they have their sales actions, I call it a CEO sales dashboard, and they log in on their sales hours and they write down their sales actions so they're not confused when they go to do their sales time on wait, what am I doing? What's a sales action again? And so you may like doing it on a little spreadsheet, or I have created some free pixel trackers where you can track, okay, 3 times a week, 3 weeks out of the month, I'm going to show up and do my 30 minutes of sales action. And so that's the next thing I want you to ask yourself for the next 3 weeks. Do I want to track my money-making action that I'm taking virtually or on paper? Next is tracking your actions with time or metrics. I am a big fan of going between them. Time is, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm going to sell for 30 minutes. I already know what I need to do. I'm going to follow up with these people. I'm going to write that email. I'm just going to do what I can and get done in those 30 minutes. And I'm pretty good at not spinning. But some of my clients, if they see that 30-minute window, they're like, wait, what am I supposed to do again? And they do much better with metrics, right? I'm going to write these 3 sales emails. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to get it done. For me, that doesn't always work great because then I take a long time to do it. Versus if I'm I'm going to do whatever I can in 30 minutes. For me, I feel like I hustle a little harder and that works good for me. But there are times where I'm ooh, I'm going to do these 5 outreaches and I put little 5 check marks on my paper and just check them off one by one. That's question number 3. Do you want to track your actions in time or metrics in the next few weeks? Okay, next one is working in and out of the house. I know as entrepreneurs, one of our biggest blessings and privileges is we can work in the house. And I love working in my house, but especially when I had smaller kids at home, when I had a partner, it was so useful for me to get out of the house and go to a coffee shop and work from there. Even if there were a little bit more distractions, I found that the noise actually helped calm me. I find that it's almost like how sometimes we do good at multitasking as women. And so I think sometimes having a little bit of background noise, background stimulus, some entertainment, some tea helps. And so asking yourself, when I'm doing my money-making actions in the next 3 weeks, does it feel useful to do it in my home or out of the house? Next one is doing a batch or doing a little bit each day when it comes to your money-making actions. In general, I am a fan. This almost went to my other list because I do have a vote. My vote is doing a little bit each day because I think when we overbatch our sales actions or our visibility, it becomes a little bit overwhelming and paralyzing, and then we build it up and then we put it off. Instead of hey, I'm just going to do 10 minutes today. Hey, I'm just going to do 1 outreach today. Hey, I'm just going to write 1 email today. I am a fan of batching, but in a season where you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, I do suggest the small daily action. It becomes a little less overwhelming. Okay, last one is really giving yourself permission to do written and audio when it comes to outreach, selling, follow-ups, giving yourself that flexibility. There was, or even video. Video is another option too. There was a chapter where I really love sending Loom videos and Bonjoros, but in certain chapters, I'll be I just want to do a voice memo and that feels easier, or I just want to send someone a little written email, and leaning into what feels useful, but not having to redecide all the time. Okay, I would love to hear from you if you want to email me kind of a little personality test of what you picked for those 6. And I don't want you to pick both. I'm going to do sometimes virtual and sometimes on paper. No. For the next 3 weeks, just pick one, because I think the decision fatigue and the changing is what messes us up more so than one being right or wrong. I gave you these 6 options because I fully believe you can't pick wrong when it comes to these things. The next 4 things I'm going to share, I do have an opinion on, but these ones, I think you have some autonomy and some flexibility. So I would love for you to email me your commitment of this is how I'm going to reward myself. This is how I'm going to track. This is where I'm going to work, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, send me your commitment and I promise you will see more results in your sales and your money making. And it's actually going to feel nicer and easier too, because I think the decision, when our brain is fatigued or we're overwhelmed, it is that decision-making part that is the most fatiguing. Okay, here's 4 more things. So really there's 10 things total, except for these last 4 things I'm not going to give you an option on. Okay, so you can just write these. So you're going to have 10 things total. The 6 you get to choose, these 4 you don't. So one option I could give you is, okay, do you want to do your money making and sales actions first thing in the day before your client work, or do you want to do it later in the day? And I'm going to tell you, do it first thing in the day. Okay, maybe after your mindset work, but doing it first thing that we know that you're going to show up for your clients. For me, like showing it for my clients and getting to check into Slack is almost my reward at the end of like doing the work I don't want to do, because I can stick in there and chat with them all day long, right? Like you are a heart-centered entrepreneur because you care about your clients. But what we want to do is put the oxygen mask on your business first, prioritize your money making, and make sure you're doing your marketing, your selling, all of that visibility first thing in the day. So that's what I'm going to say for number 7 is, are you going to do it first thing in the day or you're going to do it first thing in the day? Okay. Next thing is making it smaller to get it started. This is almost related to like the batching or daily, but it's a little bit different in that I find that when my clients are like overwhelmed and paralyzed with a goal, they often are trying to make it even bigger to like up the ante and frustrated themselves for procrastinating something or putting it off. And what I want to say is not only do I want you to do your little daily actions every day if you can, but make sure the action you're doing is small. For example, let's say you're feeling really stuck on sending some personal invites to one of the launches that you're creating. On that first day in your money-making time, you're not even sending any invites. You're just making a list of who you want to invite out to, right? Maybe the next day you're still not sending invites. Maybe you're prepping the drafts. You're like drafting some notes and running it by your coach, by me, right? And then the next day you're sending some out. And so really piecemealing and making the steps smaller is a huge commitment I want you to make instead of overwhelming yourself. The next one is related to the rewards, but a little bit different. And that is making sure you're celebrating your action more than the result. I know you already know this, but I'm going to say it again because you're probably not doing it. Yes, it's important to have big goals in your business, like making my 10K month, making my 20K month, making my 40K month, filling my launch with 10 women, 20 women, 40 women. But what's going to get you there is celebrating your action, right? I'm going to write 3 sales emails. I'm going to outreach to 10 people today. I'm going to post every day on social media this week, and celebrating yourself for those actions. Knowing that if you are consistently taking action in the right direction, you will get results. And not waiting to celebrate yourself until you get the results, but celebrate yourself for trying the best, because you're either going to get results from those actions or you're going to have some data to be like, okay, now that I took the action, I have some data to know why that Facebook ad isn't performing, why that email didn't get conversions, right? Okay, a lot of people are opening in it, but no one's clicking it. Why? And so really celebrating your action is the next one. And then finally is taking into account context switching. Even though I told you I want you doing a little bit of action every day instead of doing too much batching if you're overwhelmed, still taking into account that one of the hardest things I think in entrepreneurship is how many hats we wear. I just want to give you a moment of empathy. Can I do that? You are wearing so many hats. You do client delivery, whether you're a website designer or an accountant or a coach. You have clients that you show up for. That is one role. You are the delivery department. You are also the marketing and sales department. You have to put on makeup and look cute and do reels, right? You have to manage your inbox, and when people are inquiring, giving them quotes, and probably people that you don't know. You are the back end legal department and working to make sure that you are paying your taxes, that you're doing your bookkeeping. You are your quality improvement department and making sure that you have the right software and systems. Need I go on? Right? I didn't even cover all of the roles, but I think that this context switching can be so challenging, and not even to mention within those buckets, you have context switch. For example, you might switch between selling one program and kind of targeting one ideal client to kind of switching to another program and targeting another ideal client, right? Maybe you have multiple social media platforms you're on and they require a little bit of different types of content. This is a lot. And if you feel overwhelmed even by me talking about this, I want you to notice that's probably why you feel overwhelmed in business. And it's safe for you. The reason I'm bringing this up, when we that's I think sometimes why we don't sell and make money, because it's just another thing to context switch into, right? I think there's also a secondary fear of like, yes, I do want to sign more clients and make more money, but also I kind of don't because I'm already overwhelmed right now. So why would I want to take on more clients or problems? And feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated by that. And so why I'm saying this is it's so important to make sure that you are giving yourself grace when you're switching into the context of selling and making money. And maybe you want to wear a fun hat or wear funny glasses or whatever it is, but giving yourself grace and permission to fully switch into that. That's why I think doing some of these things like going to a coffee shop can be so useful. But maybe the first 3 minutes that you're switching into the hat of money making and selling, it's feeling a little sticky or you waste time or you're not able to click into it. That's okay. Give yourself grace for that context switch in, but it's still worth it. It's still worth it. I always say like my clients, when I lead them through this like little exercise that helps them like think big picture and dream in their business. And I always say like, even if you go for the first 10 minutes of doing nothing and just staring at a blank piece of paper, and then at the end of the 10 minutes, you had an idea, those 10 minutes are worth it, right? And so just because it's hard to switch in doesn't mean that it's not worth it when it comes to locking in, making money, signing clients. And as always, if you want my support around this, please sign up for a free CEO session. I would love to dive more into what some of these things look like for you. And I'd be happy to help you make a plan for all these decisions. I know for me, one of the biggest things my coach helps me with is making decisions for my personal life or my professional life, because actually I find that as heart-centered entrepreneurs, we don't actually need a lot of like quote accountability. We don't actually need a lot of, I think we just need more support with like aligned decisions and helping someone co-author them with us so that we know that we're not wasting time and we're picking something that feels personal to us, that feels empowering to us. And so I'd love to help you make these 6 decisions. Feel free to sign up for a free 20-minute CEO session where we can dive in. Those sessions are meant to be a free, strings-free, absolutely free coaching session where I can dive in and help you on something like this and really get you a sales and money making plan that feels good so that when you show up day to day, it feels easy and light and aligned and you can do more of the coaching that you love. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.